Hello and welcome back to This Versus That. I've been away for a while, but I am back with another exciting video today. We are looking at Avatar: The Last Airbender and James Cameron's Avatar, and we're looking at the similarities between them. And when I say Avatar: The Last Airbender, I mean the show, not the crappy movie with the mediocre director. Anyways, first off, I want to go on record and say I love both James Cameron's Avatar and Avatar: The Last Airbender very much. I even have the posters hanging in my room side by side together. So, Avatar: The Last Airbender first aired in 2005, and James Cameron's Avatar came out in 2009. And I'm not really pointing out who did it first or anything like that, because everyone copies everyone for stuff and they take inspiration, you know how it is. But this is just for entertainment purposes and, just for fun and just to point out some cool little similarities between these two great pieces of art. With all that said, let's get into it and let's look at the first obvious similarity between them. Can you guess it? It is the title. When it was first announced that there was going to be an Avatar movie, I was so excited because I thought it was Avatar: The Last Airbender. But when I saw the trailer, I'm like, what are all these blue people? And I'm sure many other people were confused and a little disappointed, but when I saw the movie, I thought it was great. So let's look at each of these names side by side. It seems James Cameron's Avatar name is kind of like a jungle theme, maybe some like tree bark or like even bones really. Looks pretty cool. And Avatar: The Last Airbender is more of like calligraphy brushstrokes, which is really cool as well. Kind of similar in the fonts. But really the biggest similarity is the name. So with the obvious similarity out of the way, let's look at the next similarity I found, which was the opening scene of Avatar, and I mean James Cameron's Avatar.
When I was lying there in the VA hospital with a big hole blown through the middle of my life, I started having these dreams of flying. I was free.
This scene is great. It gets you interested with the narration and the scenery. It looks gorgeous. Now let's look at the end credits for Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's just a bit slower than Avatar's intro. First off, I want to thank those names that popped up for making such a great show. Secondly, wow, that is very similar to James Cameron's Avatar's intro. But let's play James Cameron's intro with Avatar: The Last Airbender's music. I don't know about you, but that got me really excited. So that makes me wonder, did James Cameron copy the name and the intro? Who knows really, but this next similarity is very, very interesting. In Season 2, Episode 4 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Team Avatar crash lands in a swamp, and they quickly learn how dangerous the swamp is with encounters from interesting creatures. The same thing happens with Jake Sully. He gets separated from the rest of his group and gets stranded in the jungle while fighting a bunch of different types of beasts. Eventually, Jake Sully meets Neytiri and she shows him how sacred life and the environment really is. She then takes him to the home tree and shows him the ways of the Na'vi. Jake learns that everything is connected. Even before that scene, we were shown by the girl from Ghostbusters, I can't think of her name right now, that each one of the tree roots are connected to the next one.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So, that is signal transduction from this root to the root of the tree next to it.
Now that sounds awfully familiar with the swamp episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, so let's just take a look.
Oh, the swamp is a mystical place, all right. It's sacred. See, this whole swamp is actually just one tree spread out over miles. Branches spread, then sink and take root, and then spread some more. One big living organism.
Is that Home Tree? And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is. It looks like James Cameron has taken Home Tree straight from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Everything is connected.
Now that looks awfully familiar to the signal transduction of the roots and the spirit of Awa, in James Cameron's Avatar. Now there are some other similarities that are kind of a stretch, but I'll just include them in the end here. This guy has a scar on his face just like Prince Zuko. This thing kind of looks like Momo. Neytiri kind of looks like the Yu Yang archers from Avatar The Last Airbender with the face paint and the arrows. Jake Sully is in a wheelchair but excels at flying just like this kid in Avatar The Last Airbender. And technologically advanced vehicles lay siege to an ancient area. So those were the similarities I was able to find. And if you find any others or know of any others, just leave them in the comments. So with all this evidence, I can conclude that James Cameron is an Avatar The Last Airbender superfan, and it looks like he drew a lot of inspiration from the show, and it looks like he took elements straight from it. But I do know that James Cameron came up with the idea for Avatar in 1994, but was unable to put it on screen because of technology limitations at the time. But I'm sure Avatar The Last Airbender and James Cameron's Avatar have taken elements from, other works like books and other stories. When J.J. Abrams directed the new Star Trek, he added a lot of elements similar to Star Wars, and then he ended up directing Star Wars. So I kind of hope the same thing happens for James Cameron. A lot of the same elements of Avatar The Last Airbender was in his movie, and I hope he gets to direct a reboot to Avatar The Last Airbender. I think that would be great, and I hope that happens. And I just want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.